Hey guys, we are going into mid-November at this point and I still haven't gotten the garlic planted. Thought I got it planted late last year. It's going in later this year. I'm not going to be around here this weekend. I am helping film over at the neighbor's house. Taylor actually has Friday off, so he is going to be working on the coop while I'm doing that. But that means I need to get my butt in gear and start prepping our garlic beds so that I can actually plant the garlic. Another thing that I really need to get done is actually to separate the garlic out so I can count how much we have. I would also like to, if we have room, use some of the bigger cloves that we grew this year to see if we can get them acclimated to our climate and see how they do in future years if we can get them acclimated. Hey Bill, are you ready to go play? Go find your friends. We're gonna have to have a chat a little bit later about Bill, our male duck. I mentioned in our last video that we've been having some problems with him. Nothing that's his fault, but it's been a really stressful couple of weeks around here as far as the birds go. As much as it's hard to share mistakes that we've made and just rough stuff happening, it can only help you guys if you're new to this as well in the future. So we're probably gonna have a chat about it. We're gonna talk about some lessons learned. And while we're on this topic, we have our bird hospital down here in the basement, and Miss Pebbles is in here as well. We need to check on her. You wanna go try and be outside? Oh yeah, your foot's swollen. Can you stand? You want to try it out? It was pretty much completely my fault. Our run is not fully closed in yet, so we just have them in this small area, but there are a lot of them, so we don't like to keep them in there all day. So every evening we let them out a few hours, as long as we can, until the sun starts setting. And then we come in here and we round them all up, and usually it's just a matter of us kind of chasing them all into the coop. You guys know we have these little berms back here that are a couple feet high, and they're very slippery because they're just dirt and the clay is slippery and they're dusty right now. I was trying to chase some of the chickens in and I slipped on the hill and I fell. And somehow my foot slid out from under me, slid over her foot. And so, you know, chicken feet are like this. This finger, I guess toe of hers, kind of completely like came dislocated or broke. I don't really know. And it was pointing the completely wrong direction. All of the rough skin that covers their feet, that toe, it was completely peeled off and it was bleeding everywhere. And I felt so bad. I was crying, she was freaking out. We had to try and put a splint on it. We had put some antibacterial spray stuff on it, and she ended up picking off the splint after a little while, but we just kept her in the basement with Bill, just in a separate cage. It was a night. I was emotionally and mentally just like exhausted. I went inside, I couldn't even make dinner. It was rough. She's still limping a little bit, you can see. She seems to be doing a little bit better though. Yeah, you needed some fresh air, didn't you, lady? All right, she doesn't want me to get close to her, and I don't blame her, but I'll try and zoom in and show you her foot. So her toe is definitely super swollen, and it looks pretty rough, but I think it's gonna be okay. I just feel so bad. We're gonna start with the garlic because that's what we need to work on next. So I'm gonna get started with the cardboard first. While I'm doing that, Taylor is gonna be working on the coop again. I think he's gonna be framing the front wall where the doors will open, where we can pull all of the bedding and stuff out into wheelbarrows. I feel like we haven't had a coop update in a while.
This is kind of like the last bit to frame before it gets sheeted. So the whole front of this, each side is going to have like two big doors that will swing open, so we can essentially just open the whole front of it when we want to get in there and clean it out. Hopefully we'll be able to just use like a rake or something to pull all the bedding out of it. We kind of have the top, so the doors are going to be this tall, right now I'm just framing the sides of the doors where the hinges will land, basically. So I'm gonna have to adjust some of my framing on the top there, because I did that before I kind of decided how the doors were gonna be, but that'll be pretty easy. I'm gonna just do this lower part because I know that's where I want the hinges to be. And then I'll measure it out so the edges of the sheets kind of land on the upper framing.
We're getting close.
To start off with, I removed the framing that I'd put up previously that was in the incorrect spots. After that was done, I started to put the pieces back up where they actually needed to go. We're going to make double doors on each half of the coop so we can fully sweep out all the bedding into wheelbarrows below. The doors will be the next and last thing that I need to do on the exterior of the coop so that it's fully enclosed.
First thing I need to do is dig some cardboard out of this mountain that we've been collecting. If you have a farm or a homestead and you try to do no-till and you don't have a pile of cardboard like this, you're lying. We save everything. It's been a while since I've been able to deal with this, so there's a lot of it. I've been meaning to clean it up anyway. We'll start with this. I got this whole side done, and I was gonna do all of the cardboard first, but with the onions, I think I'm gonna have to do more beds than just the 2. So I need to figure out where the rest of it's gonna go. I don't want this all to blow away. We get a lot of wind through here, and I feel like I should probably cover it up with soil and compost before I work on more beds, just to make sure I can get this all done, because this is 20 feet worth of cardboard, and it would be really annoying to have to redo all that. I need to find our shovel, and we are gonna load up some dirt. I feel like you can tell how dry it's been by just looking at this. Call that good enough. It's pretty well covered. There's enough depth that I can easily plant garlic, cloves, I almost said bulbs. There's plenty of depth for that, and I'm gonna cover it with mulch as well, which is what I'm gonna do now. I got a little too much compost, so I'm gonna go dump that back in the pile and go collect as many leaves as I can. I need to find a rake though. As you can see, we aren't hurting for leaves. This is so much easier to pull than that topsoil. Oh my goodness. And we're done with this one. So these beds are about 4 feet wide by 24 feet long, and that's why it's taking me so long to do this one. The leaves and the dirt are on the other side of the house property area. It's quite a trek. I'm gonna water these in. I'm watering the leaves so that they hopefully stay in place a little bit better. I'm worried they're just gonna blow away, which I'm sure the chickens and the ducks are gonna get in it and mess it up anyway. So I'll definitely have to add more at some point, but this will be good just to keep it moist for now. Hey, Tofu. She's just my little best friend. She loves to hang out near me. Hey, Tofu. Okay, I need to go inside and make dinner. It's almost 5. I think we're making pizza tonight. Taylor's still working on the coop, so why don't you guys check in with him?
Once I got the framing done for the front wall and the doors, I need to get the plywood up on the walls next. So I started to cut each piece to size to fit around where the doors will go and around the framing for the run that we'd already put into place. Once I had each piece cut, I attached it to the coop. We still need to make the doors, but we're moving on to the framing for the rest of the run next, so we can enclose it and give our birds more space during the day. That way they won't try and tear up our garlic beds.
Probably chat about Bill, our duck. The gist of what happened is we don't know exactly what happened. I have a hunch. Again, I think it's something that is our fault, but we are learning and we're making mistakes. That's just what happens. Everything's fine now, so just start off with that. About 3 weeks ago, we noticed that Bill had an issue, and I'm gonna refer to it as his hot dog. His hot dog, I'm gonna let you infer what that is, was remaining outside of his body. And based on research I did and Taylor did, it seemed like this was kind of a common thing that happened, but it was something that was happening over an extended period of time. We needed to kind of look into it and address it. We were dealing with this for a solid week, and during that week, we were bringing him inside every day, multiple times a day, giving him Epsom salt baths like you would with egg-bound chickens or bumblefoot, and we were using like coconut oil, preparation H, that kind of stuff to try and get the swelling on it. There was a little bit of swelling to go down and for it to retract. It wasn't working. Now Bill, for all intents and purposes, Bill is a pet. He's not gonna obviously lay eggs for us. Really, the only reason we have him is because we read that it makes the ladies happy to have him around. And we actually talked to the vet about that, and she confirmed this. But a week goes by and we're still having problems with it. We can't get it to retract and it starts to die off. A lot of the stuff that we read said that you could just let it die off and it should fall off, but that you risk infection to the bird at that point. And since he is technically a pet, we decided that it would be best for him and our situation to take him to the vet. So we loaded him up, took him to the vet. Turns out the hot dog needed to be snipped off, the part that was hanging out. So he still has part of the hot dog. He got stitches, did surgery, all that kind of stuff. He's been in our basement for almost 2 weeks now. He's got an appointment to remove his stitches the day after you see this video, and then he will be allowed to go back outside with his ladies. But yeah, he's not been able to swim or do any deeds with the ladies since then, and he's been a little sad. So it's been a very stressful and, again, expensive situation that we are dealing with. Like I said, I think it might have been our fault. We're not ever gonna know for sure, but what I think happened, you're always supposed to give them access to water. We have them in their mini run during the day, and then in the evening, like I mentioned earlier, we let them out for a few hours to swim or to free range. They have a mini pool in their run, and I think that Taylor had dumped out the water in that. We refill it every several days or so when it needs it. I think he had dumped the water back out and he forgot to refill it. I didn't notice that it was not filled up. And so I think Bill went for a little bit too long without having access to the water, and somehow it got swollen and wasn't able to go back in. That's just a theory. I really don't know. We really do try and provide them with the best conditions that we can, and that was an honest mistake. So there's nothing that like we could have done to prevent that because we just didn't realize it. That's the situation. I thought I'd fill you in, and I'm gonna be done talking now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and hopefully in the next one we'll be planting all of this garlic. Bye guys.